Hi there, everybody. Hugh here again, back with you. Good to be talking with you tonight. I'm going to be doing some more reading from this writing I did back when I was at Leavenworth Federal Prison back 2009 to 2011. Really appreciate all the recent comments of people tuning in and enjoying this content. And it means a lot to me, and that's why I keep doing it. And so, really appreciate it. I appreciate all the new subscribers. If you're watching and enjoying this, please help me out. If you've compelled to subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. I appreciate it. And so, been getting some comments in person in my own hometown and my own circle of people. That they've also been tuning into this stuff. They know me as a musician, and and not only not as a prose writer, but not as a person who ever got in trouble. I think and did this kind of stuff that led to this writing. But it's been a fascinating thing over this last few weeks of doing this. It's almost like I'm back to living a kind of a double life. A lot of people online are finding this from the prison writing, and I have no idea about any of the musician stuff, and vice versa. And so I appreciate all of it, though. I want you to know it really means a lot to me. This is very rewarding to me to be able to share this stuff with you, and it's uh, rewarding to me as well. And while it's become so vivid when I'm reliving this, it doesn't give me a dark sense. It gives me a more of a this is this my story. This is what I did, and it's led to where I am now, and given me a better perspective on um, being a better person. I'm grateful for the lessons learned. I wish it didn't come with such destruction, but I'm grateful for the growth as a human, and I feel compelled to try to educate and inform and entertain with this information. So it's very rewarding. Thank you very much for checking it out. So gonna this piece I have labeled it as jabberers. I've run across when I was there and the capacity, not only at the prison, but then following that, the halfway house and all that I was in. There are, some people that are incarcerated who just had some bad luck or made some bad choices, and you'd be all right with them out in the real world and in the free world. You'd enjoy the company. They're just people. Other people are sociopaths and people you just don't like and you wouldn't hang out with. Of course, when you're in prison, you're sort of stuck with them. So there are some people like that. Even people that um, you're. It's almost like you're not surprised they got locked up and in trouble because they just seem like not very good people. They continue to make uh, choices that they're kind of a smug, rude, condescending. Um, there's a sense of superiority, and they make themselves feel better by putting others down or belittling others, even in subtle, passive aggressive ways. And it's really unpleasant. And I ran across a lot of those people, and you run across those people in real life too. And so I'm not a fan of that. So I don't think most anybody is. So in this, and I guess I should warn, I believe this passage it can has some kind of, I call it grandpa's racism, kind of accidental racism that's not blatant, but it's um, you know, and for the time, it wasn't as frowned on even as it is 15 years later in the way the modern world is. And some would say that people are too sensitive these days. Maybe that's true to some degree, but it's always good to not dehumanize and treat people based on the character and not other traits like that. So anyway, just a heads up a little bit. So all right, jabberers, here we go. If the economy hadn't gone south, this never would have happened, Ralph said. If the housing market hadn't collapsed, or if tenants would have just paid their rent, I wouldn't be here now. I hear you, man, Noah said. Now, did you? He typed in the air on a phantom keyboard. Interweb program and everything? Ralph crinkled his eyebrows. Um, you mean like a website? I don't know, man. I've been locked up 20 years, damn near. Arrested in 91. I thought back to the year 1991, the year I entered high school. Well, we had a site for the company, my partners and me. We used the internet for marketing and what have you. Noah held on to every word with only a theoretical understanding. Within a few months, he'd be back out in the world where every nut has a phone stuck to their face or in their hand, communicating by text in a lazy language without regard for vowels or syntax. Not that I was in a position to judge, still a slave at heart to the constant connection. Photos, videos, and music catalogs sent across the planet in a nanosecond, precisely the speed expected. Life is too short to pace yourself. At Lincolnwood, we still use typewriters and snail mail. Some institutions actually implemented monitored email, but we were denied such high-tech amenities. We couldn't even get a roof to keep out the waterfalls or a full set of floor tiles. Once the investigators were after me, I knew it was over. They'll get you if they want to get you. That's all there is to it. You got that right, man. They got me for 20 years. I'll never have my career back. Reputation down the crapper. I loved what I did. The only thing I loved more was Crystal. Silence for a second. Crystal is your wife? Ex? Your girlfriend? No, she wasn't my wife. Couldn't go down that road again. After the first one. Nasty divorce? Noah said. I've had more than one of those myself, if you can believe it. No, my first wife, Ashley. She passed on. Ralph was somber. Everyone was quiet. Ralph rubbed his forehead, stared at the floor. Yeah, wasn't much left after the fire. Nothing I could do. She was home alone. His voice quivered. The eavesdroppers eavesdropped even more. Damn, dude, was it an accident? Noah asked. Ralph shook his head. It was trying to force the words out. Noah put his hand on his thick shoulder. Ralph took a breath. Spontaneous combustion. I'd read about such things, but didn't know it was real. Lord have mercy, Noah whispered. Ralph inhaled. And the really, really awful part, sniffing, breaking down, is I used to call her Ash. A smirk crept into Ralph's face, then a snicker. Finally, his full body gyrated. Ha 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 ha. He held his round belly and laughed hysterically by himself. Hee ha 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 ha. We groaned and shook our heads. Noah glared, scoffed, and left the table scowling. Badass piece of shit. He muttered, making his way to the restroom. Don't be such a baby. It was just a joke. Ralph's face and hairless head were red, quite proud of his joke. Alan Cole changed the subject. I used to be in banking. The FDIC was coming after me, too. The deal started 6 years ago. They don't stop. They just don't ever stop. And they don't go to all the trouble just to lose. Trial is no option. They punish you if you try to exercise your right. No, they don't like to lose, and they don't always play fair or tell the truth, Nick Smith said. I learned that 40 years ago on a little adventure in Southeast Asia. And I'll tell you all another thing. As inappropriate as that conflict was, this business being here is worse. My government, the one I stuck my neck out for, said I owed them a couple more million than the $12 million in taxes I paid that year. You're here for, you see, at one time I had over 2,000 employees, and I've got 14 grandchildren, and I paid those back taxes, yet here I sit. You paid it all off, and they still sent you to prison? And there are guys who got sentenced for the same crime, and most of them got 5 years, and they owed less than me. I guess I can be grateful for what I got. How much time did you get? 15 months. I've also paid the fine and the cost of incarceration. So we're all assessed a fine, but mine, like many others, was waived because of my restitution. Also because I was flat broke. In addition to the fine, we're supposed to pay for our meals and lodging, but such circumstances are reserved for the wealthiest of offenders like Nick. His tax dollars actually covered the bill for the rest of us, but no one thought it was wise to bring up such irony. The way I see it, fellas, if I have to pay, I ought to get better service, better food, cushier mattress, classier roommates, present company excluded. Good luck with that, my friend, Noah said, coming out of the restroom. I've been asking for 20 years. Ha! Well, for the life of me, I don't know how you can stand it. That kitchen is filthy. I've seen mice scurrying across the floor at breakfast and roaches crawling up the walls at supper time. Spiders every damn place you look. Well, you can thank old Mr. Shelley for them. They called the big house the bug house for a while. Who's Mr. Shelley? Ellen asked. Seamus Shelley. Seamus, the Scotland's shotgun Shelley? Nick began to sing in a mock Scottish brogue. Don't give me no argument, I ain't looking to quarrel. Just load the gold into me sack, I'm making me withdrawal. Then stick your hands up in the air, my name is Shotgun Shelley, or else I'll blow your stinking guts out of your doggone belly. Da-doo, 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 da-doo. Huh? Yeah, that's the one. You know, he died back up there in the 60s. He kept spiders in his cell for pets. Spiders? He kept a ton of them. He rigged some funky legal work and had it set up in his religious right. He even got the Pinkos and the ACLU involved. They said his cell was covered in webs, and they crawled all over him. What? That's nuts. The story is, he'd go to the chow hall or the library, and those nasty fuckers would just be crawling all over him the whole time. Big woolly ones. Those creepy, crabby ones. Whoo! Noah shivered. One of the screws finally says to him, "We gonna have to spray your house now, Shelley." He said, "Oh, no, you don't." And he wound up staying in his cell for the rest of his bit. Years. Till he died. He'd have his tray brought to him. One day the kid was taking his food and found him in the corner. Body just black with them all over. Webs thick, wall to wall, everywhere. They sprayed the joint down, and it stayed infested damn near 25 years later. Wow, Alan said. Well, that's an entertaining tale, but I find it a little hard to swallow, Nick said. In fact, it borders on asinine. No offense. Hey, I didn't make it up. That's just how I heard it. I don't just make up stories to pull your leg and amuse myself. Ralph rolled his eyes. Something else that, forgive me, bugs me, Nick said. These little gangbangers from the hood. Now, they might think I'm some meek little lamb, but they're going to find out different if they keep pushing me. Staying up all night, hollering, playing cards, smacking them dominoes on the table when I got to get up of a morning. Been that way since I can remember, Noah said. Call themselves gangsters, or gangstas, rather. Always talking about hustling, but they mosey down the hallway, meandering one side to the other in packs, britches down past their ass cracks, getting in my way. I'm trying to go somewhere. Now, where I come from, a gangster was a sharp-dressed fella who acted like he had some self-respect. Guys like that used to come see my pop all the time when I was a kid. Truth of it, though, Nick said, I'd put up with a lot of it, and with a smile, if I could just smoke me a damn cigarette. Bull's ears perked up. You need a smoke, OG? Anyone who appeared to be older than 50 or so was a old gangster or OG. All right. That's people sitting around and talking, which is what a lot of people did to pass the time, telling stories, telling lies, trying to impress people, trying to, make themselves feel better. It was just a lot of that, a lot of yammering and carrying on. And all. So, a reminder as well, I changed the names of everybody in here. And though I wasn't mentioned in there, I changed my name to Benjamin Hughes. I even changed the name of the prison from Leavenworth to Lincolnwood. So, I hope you enjoyed that. And stay tuned. I'm going to bring some more to you. All right. Thanks so much.